Hi, everybody. This is Mike Gerdes and Yoga the Wonder Dog from the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I've got a t-shirt on that says Lollapalooza. You know, a lot of things have changed this year of the COVID virus, and the Lollapalooza has been a famous rock festival they held in Chicago. And I had an opportunity to go to it a couple of years. But now, because of the virus, they've had to adapt. And, excuse me, they've had to adapt, and now it's gone virtual. It's interesting that this COVID virus has caused a lot of people to adapt in all kinds of ways. I know that we don't do meetings the way we used to. Now we Zoom our meetings. I know we don't do classes the way we used to. We Zoom our classes. It's amazing. And it seems to be the new normal. I remember back in the 60s when there was a big concern about having a nuclear war. Everybody was really concerned that the Russians were going to bomb the U.S. And we were taught in school to, in case of a nuclear attack, to get underneath our desks, like that was going to do some good. Or we were taught, if we were out on the street, to get down into the gutter so that would protect us. Interesting. So here we were all full of that fear of the bomb, and now we've learned to live with the fear of the bomb. Did you notice that? We sort of take that for granted, that it is what it is, and as long as it doesn't happen, we're okay with it. This COVID virus, remember when it first came out to us in the latter part of February, first part of March, and you heard about these things going on in Washington State and then in New York, and everybody was, Now more people are being infected by it. It's killing more people than it did before, and there seems to be a lot of blasé consideration about it. It's sort of like people have gotten used to it. People have gotten used to dealing with it or not dealing with it in their own way. It's interesting how people adapt. One of the very interesting pieces or parts about being a human being is how we adapt to different situations. Now, that's one of the reasons why our species continues to exist, is because we are able to adapt. If you got an ice age, okay. If you got an ice melt age, okay. We do what we need to do to survive. I know that some of the things that we need to do as we move forward is we need to get rid of some ideas that we've had that aren't suitable for life as we move forward. We need to adapt to a new way of living. Now, if you're interested in living a better life, then live that better life. And if you're not living that better life, why are you not living that better life? It's probably because you haven't adapted to the new realities. You haven't embraced a greater idea, a greater mental equivalent for yourself. Or you have subjectified some ideas that you're unworthy, whether you've done it personally or you picked it up from your family or off the street. But if you're not living the life you say you want to live, we need to change your story. We need to change what we think about ourselves. We need to change what we think about life. Now, some of us have held on to ideas that are just unworthy of us. Some of us have held on to ideas that because we were white, we were superior to people that were black. That's a crazy idea. I understand that it has been ingrained in much of the American population and much of the population in the world. But it's cockadoo. It's not true. And we need to learn to adapt as we move forward if we're going to embrace a greater idea of life for ourselves. Interesting enough to note that the highest I can hope for somebody else is the highest I can hope for myself. So if I'm not wanting good for my fellow man, my fellow woman, whatever color they are, black, indigenous, people of color, if I'm not stepping up for them, if I'm not standing up for them, I'm not standing up for myself, because they are nothing else other than other expressions of the I am that I am. Now, our teaching tells us there's one life, right? And whose life is it? It's God's life, right? And that life is perfect, right? Okay, if there's one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, and we know that life is your life, that life is my life, and we know it's the life of everyone. So therefore, the life that everybody expresses, everybody, no matter what the package looks like, skinny, short, tall, big, thin, black, yellow, white, red, it's all the one life. And we need to learn to adapt to that new realization. We need to let go of what doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work anymore whenever we think about being better than. There is no better than. And as long as we're on a roll, how about gender equality? Now, do you realize that I think it is this year that women have only had the vote for 100 years? We're talking about a century now women have had the right to vote, except if you were a black woman. Because if you were a black woman, you weren't able to vote until I believe it was 1964 or 1965. Crazy, huh? We are slowly adapting, and frankly, we need to adapt faster. The world is going faster, and we need to keep up with it. No longer can the things that were okay in the past be okay for today. No longer can women earn 70 or 85 cents on the dollar that men make for the same job. It's just not fair. It's not right. And no more should blacks not be able to go to school that teaches them as well in the city center as they are taught on the main line of Philadelphia. We need equality in education. We need equality in racial equity, gender equity, and everything that doesn't appear to be that. Everything that we've held, every idea that we've held that doesn't go along with that of equality, equality of our fellow man and woman, brothers and sisters, we need to let go of. We need to adapt to a greater idea and allow that idea to come forth through us. That means that we're going to step up and do some things that are uncomfortable for us to do because we're not used to doing them. Well, I'm telling you, adapt. Take the little steps, because once you take the one step, then the next step, then the next step, you'll be on your road to living the life that we all want to live. I want to thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow you get a chance to hear Reverend Dr. Maxine. And be sure to check out our website, cslphilly.org. On that, you have a donate button where you can make a contribution, but there's also a way that you can click on. It says click on for Sunday live services, but actually if you click that on, that one link, that will bring you to a whole slew of previous messages that Dr. Maxine's given, and and the love notes that she and I have given for months now. So check it out. it might be of interest to you. It also, there's some great classes that are starting up. Dr. Maxine's first class is starting up tomorrow night on Tuesday night. So if you happen to be catching this tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, and you want to take a class, get a hold of her or get a hold of admin at cslphilly.com and tell them you want to take the class. Anyway, that's enough out of me today. God bless you, and remember, to live, we adapt, and so it is.